Okay, I was gonna make a quick follow-up, I guess a second video to this EGR delete, kind of what did to finish it up and make it work properly. I've already run the tractor a little bit, it's got coolant back in it, everything seems fine. Got the hood kind of back in its normal position. As you watch the other video, I had it lifted up, which you pretty much have to in this case to get enough room to work on that cooler. And here's the coolant bypass line they come up with. Basically got a little bit of the steel line that robbed out of the original cooler lines. Not sure if it was I believe it was the short line on the bottom, but you know, whatever works. It needed a little bit of angle there, so this coolant hose didn't basically pinch off from trying to get such an angle. It was just straight piece of coolant hose. It is that thicker silicone hose, it's not the double walled. The single wall works best on these. That's what was on the tractor anyway, where it was soft hose. And there where it comes into the front, basically is to the front cover. That line was going up and over the valve cover to the top of the EGR, and then the line coming out the bottom was going right into the side of the engine, straight in right here. But this seems like it works pretty good. You know, there has to be trimming right here on this cover. Just basically use like a rotary tool, do it clean. It's just plastic cover here. And it looks fine, because you wouldn't want to have that rubbing on there or tight. And the way this heavier hose is, it sets up, it's not even rubbing on there. Maybe eventually it'll work down where it's setting on there, and it probably will cause a rub mark, but it should be fine. I think that's really about as good as you can do. There's probably tons of things you could do here. This is about the best thing you could come up with. It doesn't take a lot of effort, and not really, you know, if you have some better silicone coolant hose or whatnot, you can make this happen. You're definitely gonna need a little bit of it, probably 3 or 4 foot of it, and kind of cut it and make it work the way you want it. Come around here and show, made this puck. So that's where the cooler would have went in, obviously, to the intake. There's where the EGR valve is. That is basically the flange. You could use a flange off of the cooler, and then you know, find you some metal that's suitable enough that will make a nice, you know, relatively thick buildup when you weld it on. You can pretty much kind of do what you want to do on that. I wouldn't say that that's a real picky spot, because that's not hot there anymore. That's just plugging the line. Get a light and show back here where the feed line was coming out of basically their bottom of the turbo. Made another puck and did cut the mount off of the line that goes over to the EGR, and then same deal with the other one. Got some metal and welded that all in, cleaned it up, just threw a little high-temp paint on it. That'll last for a little while, but you know, I think it looks good. You can't see that there anyway, and now everything's gone and it's cleaned up just like want. Not using it anymore anyway. No reason to have coolant going through that cooler anymore. You know, I don't think I really brought it up much in the last video, if that's a big advantage. If you do phase out your valve, and if you can keep it from opening, why would you really worry about taking the cooler out? Well, you may never have any problems. You don't know a lot of times what the condition of the cooler was, and if it was close to plugged up and getting relatively hot, just like any other EGR cooler, and possibly close to failure. But you know, a ruptured EGR cooler can cause head gasket issues, contamination issues. I mean, there's lots of things. So if there's an option, and this didn't take all day. I mean, it took a few hours because it was trying to kind of come up with a decent coolant bypass setup. But you know, if you're gonna do that, I think that this is a good option, and it makes it look a lot better. And some engine repairs later on, as the tractor gets plenty of age, things will come up. probably have to take that off anyway, so this will definitely make that a little bit easier. Like I said, I've had it running, worked out good. I'm pretty happy with it. I think I got for sure one combine here that getting ready to kind of go over for season. It basically has the same deal, the 9-liter, and it phased out EGR valve. Maybe try to do the same deal. Engine's very similar, a few things different. I might make a couple short videos on that if we decide we have time and want to go ahead and do that.